Hello and welcome to Kerbil Space Program. I'm Scott Manley. No, I'm Playland, Tommy Like Tom, aka Shipbuilder 69. This is my massive hauler that I built to tow this massive object into orbit around Minimus, which was a contract that I did. Bring a newly discovered Class E asteroid into orbit around Minimus. So I completed that mission, and I'm just going to show you some of the steps that I went through to get there. Let's just launch a... That's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is the mining base. These are miners. This is a little science center. This is just for fuel because these miners actually filled up all of these tanks. Yeah, these things on the sides here can actually be used to steer the asteroid, as I'll show you later in the video. And let's just either the engine here. I actually forgot to bring a scientist originally, so I flew this little command pod over here, this little lander, all the way from the other space station. Let me just grab on here. Oh. Okay, so I flew it from this other space station, which is targeted, to the asteroid, which is in more of like a polar orbit. And I did so with this little can, and this can has no SAS on it at all. I didn't use a pilot. It doesn't have RCS or SAS. And I had to do it all with just this little engine here, but it actually wasn't too difficult. I also learned you can turn down the wheel authority on both the command pod and the inline wheel reaction wheel thing, and that'll give you a lot more control. It won't be as finicky or like oversensitive, you know. I had to turn down the sensitivity way too much. And I've been playing this game for years, and I just learned that now, which says a lot. We're going to come in for a landing here. See, it's difficult. Whoa, what am I doing? It's difficult without RCS because usually you could use that to just maneuver the craft to dock it more easily. But with this simple engine setup, I have to really just kind of hope for the best. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, that was actually pretty good. Can I get out now? Let's see, sometimes the door is locked. Oh, I can always transfer them though, hey. Transfer to there. Cool. Yeah, so I've got the scientist working on some of the asteroid samples for some science. These little guys help with the RCS just to rotate the craft. These engines can be used to rotate the craft like this. If you just apply some force, you can see the asteroid starts rotating. If I engage the throttle, I think I just need to turn this engine off first. If I just engage the throttle, you can see I haven't got all of these engines on, but it's pulling the asteroid. And that gives a minimal force because the asteroid itself actually blocks a lot of the force from these engines, which is why I've got these on the side. And when you're doing long burns, most of the delta V comes from these engines, which are mainly turned up to 100%. Not at the moment, but these guys are only on 50%. Because if you put them on 100%, they start burning the equipment as well. But yeah, let's go have a look at how this all started. So this is the hauler in orbit of Kerbin, low Kerbin orbit, before the mission has launched. So I assembled this rocket in orbit. As you can see, there's 3 rockets attached, well, 2 rockets attached to this main rocket, which has these 4 boosters on the back, which are in a strange configuration, but I'll talk about that later. You can see these little ships here are from this aircraft. Let me just get to a sunnier spot so we got more light. What happens if I turn on the lights? Okay, so each one of these little guys I maneuvered and attached to the body of the main craft individually. And I have to extend. Oh, that's going to get in the way, isn't it? Okay, so let's just first actually go to the craft itself. Okay, I have to activate this engine. Whoa, that's too much. Way too much. Should use the RCS rather. Oh. Okay, it's not a disaster. Okay. I just have to figure out which way these things are pointing. Okay, that's good. Got some velocity in the right direction now. Okay, I'm just showing you how I attached each one of these things individually. I must remember next time to install more lights. Come on, you got this, you got this. I just turned down that docking force just in time. Yeah, you see this antenna is getting in the way. So I'm just going to turn off the RCS and, ooh, don't speed up time, that's a bad thing, wrong button. Let's get my engineer out there and fly him over. Let's just turn his thrust limiter down so we don't go flying off into space. Okay, so we're just going to turn on engineer mode. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, and then we're just going to take off this antenna. Whoa, whoa, whoa. See that little jump there? Okay, I got to place this somewhere quick. Place. You can't apply force while you're carrying a piece in your hand for some reason. I mean, you can't use your jetpack. Okay, there you go. So when that thing clicked into place, it for some reason sort of flung me into space. I don't know why. But I want to show you these struts that I use to keep these boosters in place. Because currently they only got this one flimsy little connection, which is the docking port. So I've got some things in this cargo unit over here, which I can access just by going into engineer mode. You don't have to open it up or anything. And then I can grab struts and I can just strut them along like that, which is very effective. Okay, what else can I show you here? I can show you these rockets at the front. These are nuclear engines, and these are the ones that you saw on the asteroid that are sort of attached by a tether to the asteroid. I didn't realize until I actually got to the asteroid that I forgot to put on a third engine symmetrically. You know, it's actually a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth engine. So I left off 4 engines, but luckily it wasn't a big problem. And then this is pretty important to show as well, actually. Let me get my engineer, because this is a job for him when we get to the asteroid. It's quite cool assembling stuff in space. So when you get to the asteroid, you have to extend this arm, which is all scrunched up, packaged. So I can grab this and I can just leave it hanging in space there. And grab one of these and just build a tower. Ooh. Just flying around a bit. I can build a tower outwards like this and then stick this clampetron onto the end. Remember to bring more ladders. Ladders and lights. The problem is that you run out of parts because you have a part limit in career mode, and I only ever play career mode. I never play outside of career mode. And then this will be used to grab the asteroid. It has to be quite long. There has to be space, and it has to be quite wide in order to stabilize and also to get maximum delta V. The reason that you pull instead of pushing is because it eliminates the rotation, the torque that you would get from pushing. Okay, what else can I talk about here? I think that's it. Let me show you this guy in action. So this is the fully assembled craft, ready to be flown to the asteroid. I got quite lucky with an asteroid that was already heading towards Kerbin's influence. It doesn't collide with Kerbin, and it doesn't stay in Kerbin's orbit. It just kind of flies by and out. So my job is to intercept it and just to attach myself to it and then wait until it gets into Kerbin's influence, and then to slow it down, and that'll keep it in Kerbin's orbit. Okay, so I guess we could speed through to the maneuver. I'm not going to show the whole mission. I'm just gonna show different stages, because it took a hell of a long time to do the whole mission, so I'm not going to do the whole thing again. One thing I should have really done is used a more experienced pilot, or a better, autopilot system or something, because the whole time I had to deal with these nodes manually. But all of my pilots were in use, and I'm all about efficiency. So yeah, let's just blast off. Okay, that was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We want to hit it slowly, you don't want to hit it fast like that. You don't want to use up too much RCS either, so you can use the engine's gimbals to steer instead. To maintain. If you turn it up too much, then it becomes too difficult to steer. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about, because I actually had to re-record this video, but you can align these docking ports, and you can see I've purposefully chosen not to align them, because there's a bug in KSP where if you use this alignment variable and then you save it, it'll save this value, but it won't save the physical alignment of the rocket, so you have to keep doing it every time you reload or you change ships, and that's just a huge pain, so we don't deal with that. Instead I've just left it in this kind of symmetrical, janky pattern, but it still seems to work, so if it works, just don't change it, is my philosophy. I suppose I could have spent time redocking to get it perfectly straight, but yeah, that's a hassle. Ain't nobody got time for that. But I just want to show you what happens if I take off these struts. Let's get a bit closer. There we go. Come on. There we go. Can I put that? No, I can't put that in my inventory. It's too heavy. Okay, let's remove the one on the other side as well. I'm not going to remove all of them, just the one from this rocket. Okay. Let's head back to the capsule. It's nothing like a spacewalk. Let's get the blood pumping. Okay. Grab on, grab on, grab on. So let's see what happens now if I turn this up. You can see how this rocket flips and dips and flops all over the place. So yeah, the struts make a massive difference. Anyway, let's skip to... Actually, before I show you the asteroid, I just want to show you the ships. So this is the first ship of the massive hauler, which has the capsule, the nuclear rockets, the Grabatron. I think this is a pretty ugly and badly designed rocket, and I think I got better at designing rockets over the course of this project. It's definitely the biggest project I've done. But yeah, I just want to say I am aware that this is a terrible looking rocket, but it achieved its goal. I've got these second stage boosters attached to the actual rockets that fire backwards when we come to it. And I think if I was to design this again, I would definitely make it so that you could flip this command pod around, because steering later became a massive hassle when I was flying the asteroid backwards. But yeah, I think it achieved its goal in the end. This is the second rocket that I sent up while assembling the hauler. These are the boosters, and you can see that I didn't have a plan at all when I started, because that's why I have these these docking ports. I have two because I didn't put any docking ports on the original module because I didn't have any intention. It's only when I got into orbit that I realized I needed something like this. So I had my engineer take the docking port off here and put it onto the main ship. Actually, there were a hell of a lot of modifications that I needed to make. I don't even know how these Verna engines work, and I never used them. I still need to learn how they work. But I had to take this off and replace it with 4 of these on the top, just so that I could decouple these and then reattach them to the main ship. But yeah, these are the boosters that got us most of the way to the asteroid. And other than that, there's not really much to show on here. So this is the 3rd ship of the massive hauler that I designed, and this is probably the best rocket out of the 3. I would say it's probably the most efficiently built. And this one just carries the little RCS thrusters that I attached to the side of the asteroid to make it steer better. And other than that, it's just got a whole lot of liquid fuel just to fill up the rocket. I actually brought some superfluous oxidizer on this trip. There were a lot of mistakes that I made, but it's all a learning experience. So let's have a look at that asteroid. Okay, so this is once I've arrived at the asteroid. I've got some awesome lights, so I did remember to install some lights at least. And this is when I'm ready to assemble this this grabber, which I'm actually not going to do now. I guess I could do a little bit of it just to show. But I have done it already. So just grab these parts and stick them on the front here. Whoa, come on, there we go. There we go, don't fly away. Yeah, so that's about it. Let me just grab on here, come on. Alright. Yeah, and then other than that, I just grab onto the asteroid and then fly some of these guys all around the asteroid just to attach them to the sides. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. It's undock. So these things are not going to work because right now, see, I have no control over this thing. I have very limited control. I can turn the RCS and the SAS off, and that's about it. And that's because I'm completely outside of the signal. And this is quite a fun part of career mode, is that you have to build out your comms network with these relay stations. And as you progress, you get stronger and stronger relay stations, so it becomes easier and easier to build your comms network. But it's a fun part of the game. I guess I could just show the process of actually connecting with the asteroid, which won't be difficult. At this proximity, you want to use the RCS thrusters mainly. You can target the center of mass, and you can also use I, J, K, and L just to target the center of mass like this. Oh, come on, there we go. Ah, that'll do quite well. meters per second is a little bit too much. 0.6, I mean. There we go. Okay. It just takes some time to get there, so I'm just going to speed up time a little bit. I don't know if this is the best spot for it, but there you go. We have landing, and we've got lights, which look different from this landing spot. Turn off the RCS, and there we have it. So like I said, these little probes aren't working right now. And I think the way that I dealt with that was just to wait until I was in Kerbil space. So let's just speed up time somewhat, see what happens. Let's just turn off the comms network. It's still quite a while until I arrive, and I've got these appointments, so let me just delete that. Okay, got these alarms going off. Okay, there we go. So now we're in not orbit, but passing by Kerbil. So let's have a look at the status of these probes now. To be honest, I'm a little bit confused. This is why I'm checking it out. Let's just aim the camera just so it's easier to look at this thing. Okay, extend and undock. Okay, it looks like we have control, but no monopropellant. Okay, so this is the type of thing you have to deal with while you're working on this mission. Okay, so how I deal with that is I take some monopropellant out of the tanks. So select this, select all these tanks, and go in. And we don't need a lot. Okay, we also need some liquid fuel. So let's just get some, and some oxidizer. Okay, and let's try that again. I'm just making sure this one has an antenna, because not all of them have an antenna for some reason. Undock. Okay, now this one has RCS working, great. So we can arm this guy, and let's just take a little cruise around the corner. This is much easier than the little lander pod that I was using at the beginning. But I can also use this engine a little bit. Whoa, that's way too much, way too much. That's the issue. So let's turn on the thrust limiter there. Okay, I'm just gonna start making my way to the asteroid. Crashed into it, but it's not a big deal. I did it much more carefully when I was actually in, when I was doing it for myself, but there you go. So that's just going to give me a little bit of assistance with RCS when I try to rotate the asteroid. as you can see, there's a whole lot of bend over there, and that's what we're trying to avoid by placing these little RCS boosters. Anyway, let's have a look at the next stage. So once you're approaching the periapsis around Kerbil, and you've got your hauler attached and all your RCS things, you want to aim for, you're aiming the craft for retrograde, but because my craft is backwards, I'm aiming for prograde. And then you just want to blast off and try to conserve as much monopropellant as you can. I'm not taking this seriously because I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I just want to show you how much of a burn I can get out of these things. The rotational velocity is the thing that you really have to keep under control using monopropellant. And I believe in getting this thing around Kerbil, I used up all of my fuel and all of my monopropellant. As you can see, I'm having a lot of difficulty just keeping this thing straight. But the monopropellant really does help with that. And then you just keep burning in this fashion until you've got it around Kerbil. So I've got the engines up to 100 right now. Doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. What you could also do is control the rotation of the craft using the individual throttles of these engines, which is something I didn't think about at this stage of the mission. I just accomplished this stage with just the monopropellant and blasting off. I've got quite a spring going there. That's something you want to avoid when you're doing it for yourself. With these batteries are connected with elastic bands. But you can see why pulling it is such a much better idea than pushing it. I got this idea off Reddit. It's got quite a lot of give, so it can bend quite a lot without braking. I'm going to turn off the RCS. I think sometimes the RCS can actually add to your problems. But you just want to take it carefully until you've got the asteroid in orbit. So this is once I've achieved orbit around Kerbil with the asteroid. As you can see, it's a very distended orbit because I came in at this angle and then this was all I had fuel for. As you can see, all of my engines are empty. And this is the craft. Nothing has changed since the last stage. It's just this is after the burn. This is the orientation. So now I've got to somehow get from this position to get to Minimus. And that's going to involve refueling and adding more rockets to this asteroid. So this is the station once I've refueled it and I've attached these rockets to all four sides at 90-degree angles from each other, and also this rocket at the back. You can see some of them aren't exactly straight, but I noticed that just from time warping and from loading and from boosting, the angle changes quite a lot. So that's just something that you have to deal with either by changing the angle or just by changing the throttle strength while you're maneuvering. But the engines aren't quite full, even though I've got a whole new fuel thing. I also brought up a science module. I by mistake forgot to bring scientists, which is why I had that little land at the beginning of the video. But let me show you the spaceship that I used to refuel this Asteroid. So this is the rocket known as the huge fueler that was used to provide these extra engines to the side of the asteroid, as well as the science center and just some extra fuel. I think I could have made this a little bit bigger because I did require another rocket after this one, but as I said before, there was no planning, in the origin of this mission. Everything was done ad hoc, improvised, just on the fly as we go. So, it did cost a lot of money. Each launch is almost 300,000 Kerbil bucks. So I had to take on some extra missions, tracking asteroids and comets and stuff, which were actually quite easy because I already had the infrastructure to do that. But yeah, let's have a look at the next spaceship. So this is the final spaceship, the fifth one, I suppose, in the construction of this asteroid space station. This one just carries 2 mining units. These mining units just have a basic engine, monopropellant. They've got a grabbing unit, they've got drills, they've got holding tanks, and convertitrons to convert the ore into fuel. Let's go see what that looks like. So this is the finished space station, already mining ore with these miners here. These radiators are cooling down the very intensive convertitrons and mining units. These are also supplying the ship with fuel. It's actually oversupplying everything, which is fantastic. You can actually see that in action now. If I just press fast forward, you can see these levels go up. They shoot up very fast. Look at that liquid fuel. So I've already got an intercept with Minimus, and this is sheer luck because I don't really have enough energy to align the orbits. So I've got kind of like a polar orbit around Kerbil, and the Minimus has a more equatorial orbit, and it would make sense for me to align our orbits, but instead I just decided to intersect and then just wait for them to intersect, and then I just by luck happened to hit it first time. The only thing that I have to do is add a maneuver at the top of this curve here to get it really close. If I can do that, you can see the little indicator there. What's happening here? I think I'm already too close. See how close I am there. Yeah, so that's about as good as you can get it. So this is later in that same orbit after I've executed that sideways maneuver, and we're just coming now into the influence of Minimus and getting a little bit closer to the periapsis. So we're just doing a flyby now. We just need to slow down the craft so that we can get into a nice orbit around Minimus to complete the mission. So I want to be shooting prograde, and I could use the little monopropellant that I have left to rotate and everything, or I could do like I did last time and use the engines. I can only hope that this works. But I think that's the top one. I think that's right. And I think that's down. And I think that this is... Well, I know that that's straight. It's sort of straight. Oh yeah, and the one thing that I wanted to actually show was the way that I've got these engines at the front configured. So let's just get to the right orientation first. See, I have no idea if that was applying force in the correct direction. It doesn't seem to be. It seemed to go left there. Let's have a look. Should go right. Okay, let's use RCS rather. I should have been using it from the beginning. When I did this for real, I had to reload a lot because it's very difficult. I'm just trying to get it to the right orientation here. I don't know what's doing the work, if it's the RCS or if it's the rockets. That seems to be going down. So I think I've got this in the wrong order here. So look, this should go left. This should go up. Yeah, okay, that seems to be working now. I always get it wrong for some reason. I try and memorize it, but I always get it wrong. Okay. So now that we're more or less in the correct configuration, I'm going to try and steer it. So now you can see only some of these rockets at the front here are actually pulling the craft, because some of these other ones, they mess up the rotation too much, so I just turned them off. I just turned off the engines completely. This engine on the right barely does anything for the rotation of the craft, just because of the way that it's angled. Oh god, now I've forgotten which one is up and which one's down. Okay, I hope this one is... Okay, that's left. Okay, this one is up. Okay, so we've got some nice acceleration going on now. So now I'm going to turn all of these thrust limiters off and put them onto the main throttle. So now they all work on the main throttle, and now I'm going to control the rotation with these engines like this. And this also contributes to the maneuver that we're doing. Turn off. Oh, whoops, I haven't even got the engine on right now. Okay, so let's turn the engine on. I noticed I had a big issue just going right, just turning the craft right as I'm having now. And I found that turning the engine on and off like this actually really helps. You see how much I got there. So let's try that again. So we're using full thrust now, and you can see we're eating into the maneuver there. And actually most of the thrust comes from these these side engines. So I just turned that one up all the way. Let's turn that one off, because that doesn't help. Turn that one off, because that doesn't help. You can see how this could take a while. Sometimes you get the balance just right, but the objective is to just make sure that you've got the engines actually on. Because these engines at the front, these ones here, they barely do anything for your delta V. So let's try that again. Go up a little bit. I actually filmed this already and I had to refilm, and I managed to get quite a good blast. So I'm going way too much to the right, so I'm trying to reorientate it. Okay, I'm going way too much up, so I'm trying to reorientate it down. Okay, good, good, good. Turning off the left one because we've got some good left velocity now. Okay, good, good, good. It takes concentration. I've got a guitar in my lap, which isn't helping for my concentration right now. Okay, let's turn the up one up. Turning it up is better than turning it down, because that's going to contribute to the maneuver that we're doing. We can also turn this back one on fully, because that one doesn't, that one contends with this one, I find. So we can turn both those up. We can turn the down one on. Let's actually turn this one off, because it's too much. I find it very difficult to turn right like this, and I have to do this to get it back. Or also you can use the RCS, but that's limited. I ran out of RCS when I did this, and I still managed to complete the mission. Okay, so let's go full blast. Full blast. Okay. It's actually working quite well right now. And you can see we're eating into the maneuver there. So in that way we can slow down the thing. It's better, I'm doing it in the wrong place, by the way. You should be doing this by the periapsis. But because it's so difficult to do, you want to give yourself enough time. So it's a good idea to complete half before and half after. So it's probably best to start it around here. But you can see how in this way I can get down, and the only thing you have to worry about is your engine's running out of fuel. So you can see this one's down here. So I'm just going to stop all the engines, and I'm just going to find, it's quite annoying that I have to delete all these menus. A smarter person would probably use action groups, but I don't actually know how to work those very well, so I've just never really used them. I'll probably be able to figure it out pretty quickly. But let's fill up this engine. So I can choose that, and that's the wrong one. There, and yeah, there I can just fill up this engine. And I had to do that about 3 times during this burn. So that's why you need to give yourself enough time. So you need to give yourself enough time to burn, and then also to refuel these engines. I brought some fuel ducts for the engineer to install, but I never ended up using them, because I find the less parts that you have in your spaceship, the better, just for the game. But anyway, let's skip ahead. So here is the final asteroid around Minimus, and here's the orbit, which is kind of skew. I could spend time like just adjusting the orbit to make it straighter, but I'm just so done with maneuvering this thing. It just takes too long and it's too difficult. I think if I made some tweaks to it to straighten up these engines, it would probably be a lot easier. But it's also just a huge waste of fuel to move this thing around. It's empty now. There's no more resources, so this asteroid kind of has no point to it, unfortunately, any longer. The only point is really to gather some science. But what is pretty cool is that I can reuse the equipment here, because the next contract, I've got 3 contracts at the same time going on here, but one of the contracts is to mine some ore off Minimus. So let's actually just give that a trial run here. I've got some monopropellants. I want to do it without having to gather more resources from Kerbil, without having to do another launch. I just realized I don't have any monopropellants on this vessel, so that's going to be an issue. But we can just try it for fun. So let's release this bad boy, and just get the hello. Oh, this thing doesn't have a probe. I took the probe out of that. Whoops. Okay, so that one's not going to work. Let's try this one. I think this one's got a probe. Let's have a look. Yeah, it has one there. It's just backwards. Okay, so there's no monopropellant, so this is very slow to control, and there's also no inline reaction wheel. So I think what I need to do to make this more effective is I should cannibalize the inline reaction wheel from this craft, put it into this one, and then I can attempt mining off Minimus. But anyway, I'm not going to put you through all that. If you've enjoyed watching the video, please give me a like and a subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and write a comment tell me about yourself, tell me your life story in the comments. Anyway, have a good day. Class dismissed.